Hi guys, we're back. This time we're camping at Groggin and riding along the National Trail. Yesterday we went from the Groggin horse camp towards Geehee, and now we're going the opposite direction towards the actual Groggin start of the maps.
So, as Lily said, we camped at the Groggin horse yards. It was a great campsite right on that beautiful river with permanent yards there, and when we got there were no other horses there, so we had the pick of the yards, and really nice campsite to be based at. We set off on Friday afternoon for a quick little 6k ride to the crossing into the Victorian High Country, like where the four-wheel drive track crosses the river. And when we set off, the horses were very excited. And there was a family in the river down there playing with a ball and having a great time, and Reese especially thought it was quite traumatising.
I don't see anywhere else it could be. What happened? Good boy, good boy. It's a rock bud.
Hey, can you guys hold up for a minute? No, you're right. Just give us a second, that's okay.
Good boys. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Reese thought it was a bit much listening to all that splashing and happiness going on that he couldn't see, and having to pass through the bar that goes across to stop the vehicles on the track, but once they stopped he was okay. But we marched all the way along. This is I don't know, a couple of k's down the road, the first proper water crossing, which both the boys were a bit like, ooh. And the fella in the van across there was going anyway, so we just kind of sat there and waited until he got out of the way, because Bumper has a habit of coming out of places fast.
Until there's enough room.
So we'll just hand out. Wait for the coast to be clear.
Give it a second. He's gonna jump in. Hey, follow him. Good boy. Come on. Keep going. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
I don't really know. I think that's just a loop. I was absolutely paranoid when we were going down there that something would happen, the horses would get out, something terrifying and leap out at them, and we'd both fall off. And I was, terrified of losing the horses in the high country. And so I've actually got our names and their names. We're about to get our first big spook here. A kangaroo or a wallaby was in the bushes over there, and we gave it a fright, but it gave us a much bigger fright. And I was totally expecting it. I knew it was going to happen sometime along the way, because we don't have any kangaroos where we live. We don't have any kangaroos, we don't have any foxes, we barely even have rabbits. We have no wildlife at all, and there's just kangaroos everywhere there. But anyway, this is the same creek on the way back. Reese was very thirsty by then because he'd marched a long way already. So he had to stop and have a big drink. I had to pull him up. I didn't want him to get a tummy ache. And back to our campsite on Friday afternoon. They were looking at us in our swags on Saturday morning saying, you're awake. Where's our breakfast? And Bumper had started to get used to the kangaroos by then. They looked a bit interesting. But anyway, as I was saying before, they had their big spook. I was so worried about losing them down there in the high country that I had gotten cattle tags and written their names, our names, my phone number, Lily's phone number, Richard's phone number at home where he had service, and had platted them into their mains so that if they disappeared and somebody else found them or came across them, all their details were there. That was talking about the hut that used to be where the campsite is. And yeah, we set off north on Saturday, nice and early because it was going to be a hot day. This is the Bicentennial Trail from Tom Groggin Horse Yards. We headed towards Geehee, north, and yeah, they were both terrified of this, and it was ridiculous. Like, they do cross country for goodness sake. But anyway, even Reese, who's normally the brave one, was like, no, I can't do it, I can't. And Bumper had to step in and go first, which was funny because it was like the only time that he did that the whole weekend.
Support, maybe?
He likes to be in front, but as soon as he gets to anything that looks a bit shady or a bit wet, he stops and goes, Reese, you're up, you go.
Go for it.
Boy. Boy, come on. A little bit further forward.
Keep going. Yeah. The little kangaroos run away and terrify us. Really? You don't think things behind us can be scary?
They can't see them, so it's fine. It's a nice view though.
You see the brumbies up under the trees up there?
Yeah, I can.
That's Tom Groggin Station on the Victorian side of the river. And we were riding along the New South Wales side. We never actually crossed the Murray. And yeah, this is heading north towards Geehee. As I said, we went as far as Grassy Flat. And I think we did about 15 k's on the Saturday. There were lots of little creek crossings and swampy bits to cross, which Bumper did not love, but he dealt with one way or another. And we didn't see anybody else on the trail at all on the Saturday. On the Friday and the Sunday when we went south to the crossing, it obviously we went through the busier campground, so we saw a fair few people then. But it was really nice that at all, any of it on the trail, the campground, it was all super clean. There was not a single piece of rubbish. So hopefully it's really well respected, but at the very least it's very well maintained, which was really good to see.
We're going to wait for him. The only way is through it.
Ready? Come on.
You right?
Fine.
There's another one.
Are you okay? Is that on your feet?
Oh crap, he says. There's more.
I'm gonna wait till you guys clear it.
Look, we just walk through it. Like a normal horse.
Preparing to jump again. Don't do it. Oh my god, dude.
Do you want me to like walk through it beside him? I don't think it's any better up there, is it?
I'm not sure. It looks like someone's come through it, but I don't think it is. look at it for a second.
I'll eat the grass.
Maybe come a bit closer.
Well, I was gonna like come through and then come back and just stop beside in the middle of it.
Just make sure you don't lose a swim. Oh, but this side's really good if I can get him through there.
Now come on, Bumpy.
Reese's bumps is like, Reese's on the other side, let's go.
Come on.
Maybe if you go.
I was trying to pick a side so you could like come in beside me.
Here we go. Not so bad. You can come through, go through.
No, I want you to try and walk in while I'm standing here.
Come on. No. Forwards. Bumper, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, one of us should have bought a whip.
Right, he's not going. He's gonna come through. You just need to get out of his way.
So dramatic, Bumpy.
This was on the way back towards camp. We'd already gone down to Grassy Flat and turned around, and we're coming back along here, and it's just so lovely the way it winds through the bush and up and down. We sort of had climbed up fairly high and we wind back down towards the bottom in a little bit. A bit further back we passed some emus, which Reese didn't even see them. He was behind Bumper, and big old Bumper blocked the view of them. There was 3 of them and they all ran away, and it was not very dramatic at all, which was good. As you can see, we're riding the horses with the fly masks on, which I don't normally do, but the flies were so bad. We had them on the whole time. We rode them all the time with them because, yeah, the flies were just absolutely crazy, and those big bitey ones as well. Neither of the boys are shod. They're both barefoot, and Bumper's feet are just, they're not rock hard because that would be bad, but they're so tough. He doesn't have any dramas. He never feels anything. He can walk on any surface and it hasn't bothered him so far. Reese has good feet, but he does feel the rocks on rocky bits, so he has boots on, and every time we go through a muddy patch I'd either have to lean forward or get Lily to turn around to make sure that he still has both boots. I've lost one in the forest before and we had to backtrack until we found it, but it was good. They stayed on the whole time, and yeah, he probably would have not been very happy without them. After we finished riding on the Saturday, we went for a little drive. We unhooked the float and went for a drive up the road to Geehee Horse Camp and had a look. And Geehee Hut and all of the other huts, a couple of the other huts along there, which was nice. I put the GoPro on a fence post to get a time lapse on the Sunday morning, and the birds came and checked it out, which was a bit cute. So we headed off south again on the Sunday back towards the crossing for the 4-wheel drives, crossing the Murray into the Victorian High Country.
Horses now?
The boys were much more relaxed by Sunday morning. They were used to kangaroos hopping out of bushes and things like that. It wasn't quite as scary for them. This is going across the bottom of the Tom Groggin campground. We didn't go that way on Friday, so we went that way on the Sunday for something a bit different.
Good idea. Do you reckon once Reese got used to them, he'd like run through the middle of them like seagulls? I can see him doing that. There are so many of them.
We're a lot more relaxed coming along here. We rode this way on Friday, but it was very exciting. They were marching all the way. Even when we got back, they were still very forward. They're a little bit less forward now by Sunday morning when they've done a lot more Ks since then. They're a bit happier to just stroll along. Although Bumper keeps on wanting to adventure, going, oh, what's over there? Let's go check that out. Not much, Bumper, not much. But I want to go and look. We're not going in, we're just going to go have a look. Good boys. Yeah, the track goes straight across here and curves around up to the left, and see over there, there's signs. There's like maps and stuff and a information board and whatnot.
It's not that deep, is it?
No, it's only like, you know, sidestep deep. Eat the tree, like the side steps on the car. Like it's not deep at all. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it's more just the rocky bottom. So I think that Kosciuszko is that way, Mount Kosciuszko. I think that's the pinnacles over there, maybe. This is the Tom Groggin camping area, the normal one. We're over in the horse yard camp. And at the bottom of the clearing there, past all those tents, is where the Murray River flows. And there's about a gazillion kangaroos hopping around, which on Friday was very scary. But today, which is Sunday morning before we go home, it's all a bit whatever.
Come a long way. Oh, they went down my sock.
So really, both boys were fabulous all weekend. When we got Bumper, he'd never been ridden in a paddock. He'd never been ridden down the road. He'd pretty much never been ridden outside of an arena, I don't think. And open spaces really quite freaked him out. He got quite nervous and quite tense in them. And here we are, riding in the snowy mountains. And it's quite amazing how far both of them have come, really. They were so good all weekend. It was so enjoyable, and we're absolutely planning when we can go again. It was just awesome. So yeah, we got back to camp on the Sunday morning and we popped them back in the yard for a roll and a scratch, and we packed up camp and loaded up and headed home, and we're home in time for an afternoon cup of tea on Sunday. So that was great, and yeah, it was just the best weekend. It was so enjoyable and an absolutely beautiful part of the world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.